Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in, okay? Because today we're talking about how AI has completely shifted from being just, a simple chatbot that regurgitates FAQs into a system that can actually reason through deep, messy technical context. We're looking at how Anthropic's Claude can literally transform your on-call shift from absolute chaos into structured clarity. We are way beyond basic bots here. We're exploring real agentic autonomy that actually understands your unique code base.
Look, if you've ever just sat there staring at a Datadog dashboard, deeply questioning your life choices, or if you've ever contemplated a total career change over a single ridiculously frustrating escalation email, you know the pain. Alert fatigue is real. Tool sprawl is real. The harsh reality for IT support and site reliability engineers is that the data you need to fix a problem is almost always there, but there's just way too much of it. It's scattered across logs, metrics, traces, and those endlessly messy Slack threads.
But here is the technical moat that kind of changes everything. A 1 million token context window. 1 million. That's what's available in Claude Opus 4.7. To put that into perspective, it means Claude can ingest entire code bases, massive JSON analogs, and your company's most comprehensive API documentation all in a single breath. So instead of having to artificially chunk your data and lose the narrative thread, Claude processes the entire architectural picture all at once to find that needle in a haystack.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll look at parsing massive error logs. Second, synthesizing messy Slack threads. Third, drafting tough escalation emails. Fourth, generating SQL queries. And finally, resolving a live P1 incident.
All right, Section 1. Parsing massive error logs.
Picture this. It's 8 a.m. You've barely had a sip of coffee, and you're immediately faced with a wall of 200-line JSON error logs demanding immediate root cause analysis. Normally, that means manually correlating timestamps across 3 different microservices while your coffee gets cold. But to tame this beast, we use a pro tip called context-first prompting. You front-load the log data using structural delimiters, like literally typing out ==fileservice.log before pasting your text. Because of that massive context window we talked about, Claude's reasoning engine knows exactly what architecture it's looking at before you even ask your question. You're handing it the map before asking for directions.
And this perfectly captures the two very different realities of IT support today. In one reality, you have the absolute manual scrolling nightmare of trying to find a CPU throttling issue buried somewhere in raw JSON. In the other reality, you feed it to Claude, and in under 3 seconds, it outputs the exact root cause, pinpoints a database connection exhaustion, and best of all, gives you the exact bash command to restart the pool.
Moving right along to Section 2, synthesizing messy Slack threads.
We all know that by midday, incident Slack channels turn into an absolute war zone. You've got overlapping reports, random screenshots, out-of-context chatter from different time zones. Figuring out what actually fixed a bug is like doing forensic accounting. But by using the Slack Model Context Protocol, or MCP integration, we can connect Claude directly to the workspace. You can forward up to 100 messages straight to Claude and just watch it instantly turn that thread chaos into a clean diagnosis. It actually reads the narrative arc of the conversation, figures out who tried what, and spits out a structured 5-bullet postmortem draft and validation plan. It literally synthesizes all that cross-channel noise into pure signal.
And here's the kicker. This exact workflow saves up to 90 minutes. That is an hour and a half normally wasted, manually reconstructing timelines, re-listening to call recordings, and endlessly scrolling through Slack just to build a postmortem. You reclaim that time instantly, letting your team focus on, actual engineering instead of digital archaeology.
Okay, Section 3. Drafting tough escalation emails.
So afternoon rolls around, and suddenly the technical problems are replaced by human ones. You know the drill. You need to send an escalation email to a stakeholder who missed literally every single deadline, but somehow they're blaming your team. Take a deep breath and try a lifesaver technique called negative space prompting. Telling Claude exactly what not to include is often way more powerful than telling it what you want. By instructing it to avoid generic filler phrases, overly formal language, or any hedging apologies, you make sure you get a firm, boundary-setting email without that cringy generic robot voice.
I'm not being theoretical here. I use this literally every day. Raw, unfiltered frustration goes into the prompt. Just an angry brain dump of bullet points on why the project is late. And out comes a safe, sanity-saving, highly professional email that entirely preserves the working relationship. Because of its constitutional AI training, Claude is inherently cautious and diplomatic, making it basically the perfect filter for office politics.
Next up, Section 4, generating SQL investigation queries.
Late afternoon deep dives into specific user transaction histories or random latency spikes usually mean writing complex joint logic on the fly. And let's be honest, that's tedious and super error-prone. Well, Claude's natural language to SQL capabilities allow you to just ask simple English questions to get precise database queries. You just tell it, hey, find slow traces for the checkout endpoint, and it outputs the exact SQL. Even cooler, when you integrate it with platforms like Datadog or Parsable, it can map that slow query directly back to the specific line of source code that triggered it. It completely bridges the gap between your observability data and your actual codebase.
And finally, Section 5, resolving a live P1 incident. So you're packing up your bag, your shift is almost over, and boom, a priority 1 incident fires off. The site is down. This demands immediate agentic action. This is the moment where single-task AI transforms into a fully coordinated AI workforce. Look at this timeline of the Claude Code and Slack MCP integrations leaping into action. 0 minutes, the alert fires. 30 seconds in, it's already investigated the logs. 1 minute and 15 seconds, it has opened a pull request with a fix. By 1 minute and 45 seconds, it has drafted the stakeholder update. It literally navigated the entire incident lifecycle in under 2 minutes.
It's an active participant now. A PagerDuty webhook triggers the Claude Managed Agent. It uses a skill to read your team-specific runbook conventions, then uses built-in tools to investigate an isolated sandbox environment, finds the bug, and opens the fix PR. But crucially, and this is important, it stops and waits for your human approval before merging. It does all the heavy lifting, but you make the final call.
The results for this kind of setup are just incredible. Teams using these multi-agent, context-aware setups are reporting a 35% faster bug resolution time. 35%! That drastically reduces mean time to resolution, keeping your critical systems online and, frankly, keeping your engineers from burning out.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a provocative question to think about. When Claude AI starts handling the everyday toil, the log parsing, the Slack thread summaries, the SQL queries, the routine bug fixes, what impossible problem are you finally going to have the time to solve? Thanks so much for watching and enjoy reclaiming your time.